Thank you. This has been such an amazing day, and we're going to close this amazing day with some great awards, honoring some great organizations and great people who are doing what they can to make this world a better place. I am so excited to introduce the Power Together Awards. Don't forget to scan the box. That's a special announcement that I have to make before we start, so that we can keep the conversation going, so that everyone has an idea of everything that's happened. You don't forget your hashtags. We will want to continue to storytell throughout, not only when we leave here, but throughout the rest of the year into 2025. So, to power and advance society, to change more things to move in a positive way, we have to come together as a collective power, and we need to power together. This is especially true when change is needed to increase the number and influence of women leaders together in the world. Together, we can make the necessary changes. Together, we can create societies in greater diversity. Together, women can make sure that the future holds as many opportunities for girls and women as well as boys and men. Power together is the key, and in recognizing that, the Reykjavík Global Forum Awards and honors every year are an exemplary initiatives, organizations, and movements where people join forces to create positive impacts and great change. Let us lean back and remember the previous Power Together award winners. This year, yes, a round of applause. This year, the Power Together Award acknowledges the exemplary impact of 3 outstanding organizations and movements that have profoundly and positively impacted society when it comes to gender equality and embody the power of togetherness. The 2024 Power Together Awards are Girl Rising, a round of applause, GWL Voices, and She Decides. Our first award recipient, it's my great pleasure to introduce the first award recipient. Girl Rising is the education nonprofit with a mission to use the power of storytelling to change the way the world values girls and their education. Through their global programs, they are working to break in the barriers for girls' education. Educating girls is one of the world's best investments, transforming lives and unleashing positive ripple effects across families, communities, and nations. Girl Rising is being awarded the Power Together Award to recognize their profound impact on behalf of 129 million girls out of school globally. Educated girls grow into empowered women who contribute to their communities and take leadership roles by playing a vital part in tackling global issues. Let us turn our attention to the screen to learn more about Girl Rising. To accept this award, I'd like to bring to the stage Christina Lowry, CEO of Girl Rising. Please join me on stage, Christina. Congratulations. I think she's going to win.
Thank you so much. I am deeply honored to receive this award on behalf of Girl Rising. You saw some of the details in the video, and I talked about it a little bit earlier when I was in conversation, so I'll leave out the details of what Girl Rising does. But a reminder as to why. The data is crystal clear, and there is a mountain of it. What improves when girls go to school and stay in school? Quite literally, everything. And as Paula Cox said yesterday, for women to be at the table, they first must get there. So that is why we do this work. Working in many countries and many communities where adolescent girls still drop out of school at alarming rates. And these girls are not less smart. They're not less capable. They have no less potential than any 14 or 15-year-old anywhere in the world. So we work with local partners to help these girls build skills and confidence, and we work with those around them, their brothers, fathers, mothers, teachers, community leaders, to shift their ideas about what girls can be and do in the world, and to build communities of support for them. I shared this morning that storytelling has long been part of our work. A powerful tool to change hearts and minds, build empathy and connections. And it turns out that learning to tell one's own story is a key to building confidence, forging identity, and purpose. We believe storytelling is a critical 21st century skill. So 2 quick examples of what it looks like in our work. Earlier this year in southern Kenya, close to the border with Tanzania, my Kenyan colleagues led a 10-day storytelling camp for a group of 40 Maasai girls. We worked with these young women to tell their story. In the process, they shared with us deep knowledge of their communities, of the land, of the drought that had destroyed their family's livestock, and they shared their ideas for solutions, their dreams, and aspirations. Many said no one had ever talked to them about these things. And at the camp's close, these girls, voices steady, eyes bright, stood before the elders and patriarchs of their community, sharing their stories. It was a moment of power and of recognition. They were celebrated as individuals with skills, talents, and aspirations that are vital to their community. And from a different program, last January, we secured a keynote speech at the UN for one of our fellows from a new fellowship program we launched 3 years ago. Charity Rapati is a native Alaskan, the first Native woman to graduate from Columbia University's civil engineering program. In the process of working with her on that speech, Charity made so many connections about her past, her indigenous roots, in particular a deep connection with her great-grandfather, her present, her studies as a civil engineer, and importantly, where she wanted to go in the future. She rocked it that day on that stage at the UN, and subsequently was invited by member states for meetings. She told us that the process of telling her story gave her rocket fuel. It helped her build confidence. It helped her define her mission. And Charity is now working to restore access to clean and running water in underserved communities in rural Alaska where she grew up. These need not be one-off kinds of stories. This work is scalable. We are right now working with the Kenyan government and a state government in India to scale this type of curriculum and teacher training through government schools. As leaders in this room, I call on all of us to use our power, our influence, our position, our resources to do two specific things. One, nurture a pipeline of talented, creative, and resilient young women ready to take on the challenges of the world, and a pipeline of aware, caring, and empathetic young men. And two, tell and amplify stories that help shift gender norms. In this moment in particular, when divisions are so raw and so present, storytelling becomes an ever more important tool. It can be an antidote to division and discord. Again, I am deeply honored today to receive this award on behalf of Girl Rising. I'd especially like to thank Hanna and the entire Reykjavík Global Forum team for the honor, for the opportunity for all of us to come together in this community, for championing these 4 transformative and actionable goals. Let us leave here with hope and resolve to do all we can to achieve them. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Christina and Girl Rising. We're so proud of the work that you do for all of our young girls around the world. Now it is my pleasure to present to you the second Power Together Award to GWL Voices. GWL Voices is an organization of over 70 women leaders from all regions and backgrounds committed to building a gender-equal international system that effectively responds to today's challenges of sustainable development, peace, security, and human rights. GWL Voices is being awarded the Power Together Award to recognize their crucial work in using their voices and experiences to influence global leaders, placing women's rights in transformative power in the heart of the global governance. By championing a gender-equal international system, GWL Voices is driving the change needed for a more equal world. Let us turn our attention to the screen to learn more about GWL. I would like to bring to the stage Christina Gallick, member GWL Voices. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Congratulations. You go here for Voices.
Wow, there we are. Thank you very much to the
Reykjavík Global Forum and to all of you for this award. I think, I'm not going to say it's not deserved, I think we deserve it. I'm here on behalf of all our members to truly thank you from the bottom of my heart. GWL Voices is a story of competition, a story of collaboration, a story of action, and a story of impact. I'll tell you why is it of competition. Because the 3 co-founders were 3 of the 7 women that in 2016 competed to become Secretary General of the United Nations. They lost. And they said, we cannot allow this to happen again. This is a story of there are no competent women to lead the organizations. It's not true. So they started to collaborate. And the first collaboration was to reach out to the colleagues that we had been with them working at the UN in very senior positions to get organized and to work on all the areas of the multilateral system that currently lacks a vision and a transformative action for women and girls. And we joined, and now we are 75, led by these 3 outstanding women, Susana Malcorra, Irina Bokova, and Helen Clark, and we are all working to ensure that every single step of UN or UN organizations or multilateral environment actions do have a transversal issue of women and girls. Currently, we are deployed in Baku because climate, as we have seen today, is a question of women. We have been working endlessly with courage and with the strength at the United Nations Pact for the Future Summit, where there was no reference to you, women and girls, almost. And we got a resolution, we got a pact that it is now committed to equality, and it talks about something important, women's representation, which is my last point. Women's representation is critical. If we are not at the table, our agenda will not be taken into consideration. And if it is not taken into consideration, our agenda will disappear. So we want to be at the table, we want to influence the agenda, and we want to ensure that this current multilateral system that is so scarce on gender issues really changes. So we are very grateful to receive this recognition. We think that it's a major step forward because one of the key tasks we have ahead is that the next Secretary General of the United Nations, the 10th Secretary General of the United Nations, is going to be a woman. No way backwards.
Christina, before you leave, I'd really like you to tell us more about GWL Voices for the Vision for the Future. Can you just give us a little bit more about what's happening and what's the vision for us moving forward?
Thank you. I'm delighted to stay 5 more minutes, or maybe even just 3, but to tell you that we live, myself and my colleague Natalia, we are bringing back home. Home for us is the globe, because as you saw, we operate in 45 countries. We're bringing a message of strength, a message of determination, definitely a message of energy. But we are also living a message, bringing a message of things that we see coming are not at all positive. And we have to ensure that we understand what is coming. Is coming a more organized process and system of regression, more planned, better prepared, and better financed. There is no doubt that we will see in the next months some more efforts along these lines. So we ought to be very aware of that. When we saw in 2016 17 and 18 what was going on in the multilateral system due to, let's be very clear and name it, the first Trump administration at the UN, the impact it had, we also saw that the civil society got better organized and, for example, created a movement called We Are In, so that when the US disappeared from the climate talks, the civil society, private companies, private sector, etc., joined in. The We Are In stands at the COPs were bigger and bigger and bigger every year, or the Me Too. But unfortunately, what we fear is that what is being organized currently is not enough going to be enough just with the civil society. So we need to be strong in our determination. GWL looked at the representation of women in the international system. And we counted that if we take 1945 until 2023, and we take all the international organizations at UN level, the banks and the regional banking systems belonging to the UN, only 13% of the time these organizations have been led by women. And why do we want women in the top? Why do we want a UN Secretary General next, the 10th in 80 years? It's time. Because it is not a question of symbolism, which is, it's a symbol, but it's a question of doing things differently. We know that when women go to the peace negotiations, what we get is a better peace deal, a peace deal that looks at the victims, a peace deal that looks at the opportunities, a peace deal that leaves no one behind. We know that when climate, as now in COP, gets the vision of gender, things are better for those that have to mitigate, those that have to make laws. So it is absolutely essential that this vision is there. So women at the table, women bringing the agenda, this is going to be absolutely key for the years to come. And this is not a message to be, as we have failed. On the contrary, it's a message to be much stronger to face what comes out. I like always when I'm in this double mood to remember what Arundhati Roy said. Another world is possible. One quiet day, I can hear her breathing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Christina, and the work that GWL Voices is doing. We appreciate you. So last but not least, I am now delighted to present the last Power Together Award winner, She Decides. She Decides is a global political movement fighting for a world where every woman, girl, and young person in all of their diversity can decide what to do with their body, life, and future. Since 2017, they have been standing up for the right to choose. Their members include governments, civil society organizations, youth leaders, parliamentarians, activists, service providers, researchers, media, and artists and donors. And they bring together leaders in bodily autonomy from Africa, Asia, Arab regions, Latin America, and the Caribbean, Europe, and North America. She Decides is being awarded the Power Together Award in recognition of their diverse global movement, which is driving force in mobilizing global political and financial support for bodily autonomy and sexual and reproductive health and rights for all. Please watch the video to learn more about She Decides.
When she decides, the world is better, stronger, safer. She decides whether, when, and with whom to have sex, to fall in love, to marry, to choose when and how to carry. She has the right to choose. She has the right to information, to healthcare, to feel pleasure, and that with her body shouldn't always be the degree in which she is measured. She is free, just like you, just like me. free from pressure, free to use contraception, to access abortion safely. Do not put your locks on her body, and better yet, not her mind, because she's free to decide. Free from judgment, from fear, from harm, and let's be clear that when others decide for her, she could face violence, oppression, forced marriage. She faces risks to her health, to her dignity, to her dreams, to her life. So I want to live in a world where every girl, every woman can decide what to do with her body, with her life. A world where every girl, every woman can decide what to do with her body, with her life, without question. Because when she does not decide, she cannot create the life that she deserves, the family that she wants, a future to call her own. So we, and you, and he, and they, we are uniting, standing together with her, so she can make decisions only she should make, and only her. Political leadership and social momentum are coming together like never before, but we gotta go further, we gotta do more. From today, we fight against fear. We right the wrongs. We mobilize political and financial support. We work to make laws and policies just, not only just for her, but for all of us. We stand up for what is right. And together, we create the world that is better, stronger, safer. But only if and only when she decides.
That was very powerful. Please welcome to the stage She Decides Senior Advisor, Partnerships, Diversity and Inclusion, Mariana Brandenburgo. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, ladies. Congratulations to all of this year's recipients. We appreciate you and the work that you do. Yes, thank you.